Drea is in the news, and we're not talking about Drea Michelle, who's with that fine ass basketball player. By the way, have you seen Drea's man?
No.
Okay. Drea Michelle's boyfriend's Calvin Klein ad. That's Drea Michelle's man right there. Let me tell you something, Drea Michelle, this message is for you real quick. When he leaves you, you're going to lose your mind because you know that man is going to be with somebody else. He's too young for us, but he's good to look at, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
And
handsome.
he seems like a nice guy. Anyway, back to this Drea. Drea Kelly is calling out colorism in domestic violence, comparing and contrasting the weak support the public has given to her and Keke Palmer versus the tons for Cassie. Now, why Keke Palmer caught a stray and got thrown in the middle of this conversation is just messiness. Okay, Dre is the ex-wife of disgraced R&B singer, ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind, R. Kelly. In June 2022, he was sentenced to 30 years in prison after a federal sex trafficking and racketeering conviction in Brooklyn. Now, in February 2023, he was sentenced to another 20 years after a Chicago court convicted him on charges of enticing minors for sex and producing child sexual imagery. Now, in a new episode of Uplifting Moments with D. George Hines, Drea recalled her alleged abuse, along with Keke Palmer being assaulted, well,
allegedly,
by her son's baby father, Darius Jackson, who's also good looking, by the way. Now, she then compared the support they received against that for Cassie in her Diddy case. Because every time something don't go our way, it's colorism. Go ahead, listen.
But until I came out, when people saw the documentary, up until that point, I had never spoken his name, never said that it was him. People, again, don't do their research. If you go back and you search, I had a restraining order against him 10 years before any of this ever came out. And people chose to play. They wanted to have a blind eye. They didn't want to believe it. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to see it. So for all the people who say, why is she just coming out now? I did it. You didn't pay attention. That's not my fault. You decided not to pay attention.
Do you think that now domestic violence is such a bigger discussion now because of where we are at the state of social media versus, years ago when you were allegedly going through what you were going through at that time?
Well, I'm going to clear that up because I know you have to say allegedly, but ain't nothing alleged about what I went through. I understand that, so no offense to you, but to the ones who want to play in my face, he gets to say allegedly. Yeah, social media has brought it to the forefront, but I just want to say this, and I need us as a community not to be offended when I say it, but let's wake up and take our blinders off when I say this.
Yes.
It's really amazing that women like myself could come forward. Keke Palmer can come forward with a whole video of her getting flipped over an entire couch. But when you look like Cassie, we pay attention.
Wow.
Okay? So we need to start being real as a community. We pick and choose who we want to celebrate and advocate for based even upon the way they look.
Wow.
Did we advocate for Kim Porter in the same way? Did we advocate for Keke Palmer in the same way? Did we advocate for Drea Kelly in the same way? Because I've seen so many celebrities come forward, hashtag Cassie, we love you, we here for you. Where was the hashtags for Keke? Where was the hashtags for Drea? And the ones that even came before me. Thank God Tina Turner did not tell her story in this day and age of social media.
Yes.
Because you better believe two things can be true at one time. And people need to realize as a community, y'all love the persona. Us as women, we deal with the person. And you're never going to know that person the way we do. You're not meant to. Because there's a bigger machine that even pushes them. There's a machine behind them that pushes the persona. But they also help to cover up, hide, and bury things that they do as a person. And until we become very aware and want to be educated like that, it's never going to change. But again, we need to take colorism out of it and we need to educate ourselves because that blew my mind to me. I thought, now here we are. We're all coming together and all these celebrities and we should celebrate her and we should support her. That is not what I'm saying at all. But then we need to step back and look and go, no, we didn't do that for Keke, did we? We didn't do that for Drea, did we? But again, our own community, we got to deal with that demon. We got to deal with that thing in us. And I don't know how we do it. All I know is that I have to open my mouth and you might not like what's coming out of it, but most times we don't like truth.
You're right.
We absolutely advocated for Keke, and not just because we're friends with Keke, but because we saw the video. I don't want to discount people's experience with race and color because people have their own experiences. And I mean, I have my own where people think I'm a colorist or don't think I'm black. We all have our own, right? So I don't want to discount that. And I don't want to discount how you feel, Drea. But to say that the reason why people didn't support you was because of your skin, or Kim Porter because of her skin. Kim Porter was loved by a lot of people. I don't know that we knew, and I'm just saying, somebody who knew Kim Porter, who knows her children, who's been around the scene. I didn't know Kim Porter had a long history of abuse with Puff. Now, if people did, it wasn't as publicized as a video of her being beaten and drugged down a hallway and her entering into a $30 million lawsuit against the man. You didn't get into a lawsuit that we know of with him, and you were dancing your way on social media, and I don't know. So are you saying that Rihanna got all the news because she was light skinned? Maybe it's because she was Rihanna. Maybe it was because, I'm not saying this is right, but maybe it was you weren't famous enough. You weren't a star. You were a wife. I think that's still bad that you got beaten. I'm going to say allegedly because I don't want to get in trouble. But you weren't a celebrity that people would want to talk about all the time. So maybe it's less the color of your skin and more just that you weren't famous enough. And I'm not saying that it's fair or right, because I think any woman who, or man, because men do get beaten too, who find themselves in domestic violent relationships deserve to have their stories told, deserve to be platformed. And when you have a husband, the one like yours, who was peeing on kids, which, by the way, I think you were staying with him while he was like messing around with these young people. I don't know. I'll just say allegedly, but you were kind of in the mix like a lot of women, whether the dick was good, the money was there, the bills were paid, the car was there. He couldn't read, so it's not like he knew when y'all were stealing his money. Not saying you were, but when women were. By the way, this was the time your husband was on a sex tape, VHS tape that they were selling in the hood, of sleeping with a 14-year-old, peeing on a 14-year-old. Ew. Well, I think maybe you just weren't famous enough. But to say it was because of the color of your skin and dragging poor Keke in this, Keke ain't felt that way. Did you get permission from Keke to speak her name? And I know you didn't get it from Kim Porter because she's dead. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that it's a bad look at times to always pull out race or colorism in instances where I don't think they necessarily apply. There were so many varying factors in each case that are so different. Like Keke Palmer, I think did get a lot of attention, but Keke Palmer is a boss in a different way, and she moved on, and she did not let this become the topic of her success. Like Keke did not live in this. Keke moved on very quickly, and her boyfriend at the time, the father of her child, is not a star in the way that Diddy is, or in the way that R. Kelly or Cassie are. Correct. And then I think the limitation of social media, when R. Kelly was being charged with his crimes, like no one was having the conversation the way we are, and we didn't see it the way we saw Cassie being beat by Diddy on that tape. So it was just, I think there's so many different factors that are at play here as to why the conversation was greater with Cassie. And I think, again, it was because Diddy is Diddy. Like, so that conversation in itself is going to get a lot more attention than a conversation about Keke Palmer's daddy.
If she would, Drea, if you would have pulled this receipts out and like levied him under all of this or buried him under all this at the time his sex charges was happening, you probably would have been all in the mix too, but you didn't, right? So there's been ebbs and flows of your story, and when it's been told, not how it's been told, because you've told it, but you for many years didn't really speak on it. So I don't know. I don't think it's fair to say it's because your color. You're beautiful, by the way, and you could dance. Dance your way over here to the Jason Lee show. Let's unpack that. I don't know. Okay, bye.